Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the Professor, and with me today are Bucky.
Hello.
And the DJ.
Hey all.
We still haven't gotten rid of him.
We are looking for a cure, but penicillin doesn't seem to work like it did on that rash.
I didn't need to know that. Our fans didn't need to know that.
Oh, come on. Penicillin's a great...
And just a side note, do not take any medical advice from Nerds Amalgamated. We are not doctors.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, you and your big wig trying to be a doctor, mate.
Hey, just because I have asthma.
Ooh.
Got to have something to go with the perspiration of all that studying.
Yeah. Anyway, tonight we have Guillermo del... What was that?
I just threw...
Is someone throwing cutlery?
No, I just threw a spanner, a gecko that was starting to climb up on my bedroom.
Fair enough. Anyway, tonight we have Guillermo... I cannot do this tonight.
and you pick on the DJ.
You know how sometimes you just get a word stuck in your mouth?
Well, it's better than having something else stuck in your mouth, I guess.
No. Family friendly.
What? I was going to say like a gobstopper or a peanut butter sandwich. We're not all grotty perverts like you. Do you want to start again?
Third time. No, I'm fine. For the third time, tonight we have Del Toro's Pinocchio. Steam finally supporting Aussie dollars and a new landing site on Mars. First, we have Pinocchio. So, DJ, take it away with the other little robot thing. You'd get along well, I think.
So, basically, fresh off the Oscar win, Guillermo del Toro is planning to make another movie. This time with Netflix called Pinocchio.
Which one did he get the Oscar for? Was it Shape of Water?
Yeah, The Shape of Water. Yeah.
Which is an awesome movie for those who haven't got around to watch.
Oh yeah, man. Pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. But yeah, so basically the film will be set in Italy during the 1930s, which was basically during the time when Mussolini was in power. And production for Pinocchio will begin this fall.
Was he in power or rising to power?
Was consolidating control of the country.
So were the trains running on time yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, it was Mussolini who got that attributed to him, didn't he?
I thought that was Stalin.
I'm pretty sure it was the Italians. Yeah, here it is. Mussolini made the trains run on time.
I suppose it was the first time for a train.
Yeah, it was. I see you got a bit quiet there, Bucky.
Yeah, sorry, I was just a bit thoughtful for a moment.
I thought you were studying too hard to think.
I'm trying to give my brain a break, but unfortunately...
It must be the penguins giving him a hard time.
Hey.
With that mind control raise.
You get your own thing there, buddy boy.
Del Toro doing Pinocchio. This is a good... Would you say this is a reboot, per se?
No.
Just a remake.
I wouldn't say it's even a remake. It'll be going on Del Toro's personal style. It won't be like any of the other versions of the story. You'll probably go back to the original darker version of the story rather than ridiculous nonsense that Disney's come out with.
So we're going to have any weird sex scenes like in Shape of Water?
I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past
puppets.
Him. But it's stop motion animation. So, yeah, basically the same as his Corpse Bride one. So, yeah.
Well, the plot Del Toro briefly stated saying Pinocchio is an innocent soul with an uncaring father who gets lost in a world he cannot comprehend. He embarks on an extraordinary journey that leaves him in a deep understanding.
I've seen this movie.
Father. What's
it's
that?
Called Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. I wonder if Jiminy Cricket's gonna be Bubba. Jiminy Cricket is Bubba.
What?
I've got to save Jiminy.
Oh my god!
Let's be careful here, guys. Let's not pick on the Forrest Gump movie. Too many feels that are derived from that, and the fans tend to get a bit violent and pick on it.
Oh,
yes.
that would be pretty funny. Imagine that Pinocchio crossover with Forrest Gump. Oh.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be pretty short though, because being from the south, Forrest Gump would be pretty quick. Like he's pretty quick at running, so he'd also be pretty quick off the mark with spotting mosquitoes and so forth. So yeah, I don't think Jiminy Cricket would have done too well.
What sort of
slapped or cooked?
What sort of wood was Pinocchio made out of? Is he like pine, or is it something dark?
I don't
Because
know.
that would definitely change how Forrest Gump would go if Pinocchio was forest.
Well, it was. I don't think they ever specified the type of wood, but it's usually an orangey, deeper hue for most of the stuff. So yeah, wouldn't be pine. You'd want something that's a bit stronger and harder wearing for a lot of that.
From what I've seen, according to the original source,
Here we
a block of pine wood.
So Pinocchio was white.
Well, no. Pine is yellow.
Yeah.
So he's Chinese.
Oh. Pinocchio was a cheap Chinese toy.
We're gonna come up with so many jokes, so many bad jokes, aren't we?
Well,
We should do the whole mystery science theater thing with this new Pinocchio movie.
Hey, what? Okay.
I wonder who. I would like to see who plays as Geppetto and who plays as Pinocchio.
I don't know who plays as Jiminy. Do you know how hard it is to find someone who fits into that costume?
What was the guy from Game of Thrones?
Oh, the short guy,
Tyrion.
Peter Dinklage.
That's it. It's a bit harsh coming from you calling him short.
But yeah, that's gonna be funny. Just see, imagine Ron Perlman. I was hoping Ron Perlman to play as Geppetto because he's always a frequent collaborator
Are you
with
having another
Del Toro.
man crash?
No. I saw Hellboy then. Del Toro and Ron Perlman always in those movies.
Something's telling me you are feeling a little bit more like you feel about Russell Crowe towards Ron Perlman at the moment.
No, it's not.
Like you got to have Ron Perlman in Hellboy movies because he was Hellboy in the original Hellboy movies. So that
And
might be the
Pacific
reason why he's
Rim.
always there. Once it's filmed,
And Pacific.
is he in Pacific Rim?
So,
Yeah, he was the
Okay.
guy that gets eaten by a monster midway.
Hannibal Chow.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've just been looking at the plot section on Wikipedia, and it says that a carpenter started to carve Pinocchio as like a block of wood into a table leg, and the log screams at him.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that. If trees could scream, would we still cut them down? Maybe if they screamed all the time for no reason.
Well, it depends on how they scream. And how do we know they don't? Just because we can't hear it doesn't they're not.
Yeah. Well, technically grass screams. The smell after you mow the lawn is a pheromone that the grass puts out to warn the other grass that bad things are happening.
Mm-hmm. What was that movie where they got the nature striking back and it's passing the message?
The Happening? It's the
Um,
one where everyone starts killing themselves because the trees mind control them.
I can't remember. It's just, everyone just starts dying or whatever. Yeah, and there's just a group of them that get away and they figure out that it's nature's had enough of it's killing them all.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan made that. Yeah, The Happening. That was a weird movie.
It sounds like he did it after he made it all.
I'm reading the rest of the plot section here, and it is weird.
Okay, in the original story of Pinocchio killed Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
Got his feet burnt off and was hanged and left for dead.
Oh man, so much for that Forrest
Does it
Gump
still have the bit
crossover.
about the donkeys?
Well, what did you say? He was
Yes.
hanged?
Now, how do they turn the puppet into a donkey? Because they turn the kids into the donkey with magic or whatever, but he's a puppet. He's not a kid. He's
Well,
made
he
of
was made
wood,
as-
not
I don't
meat.
know. Just a bit of extra carving. He's made of wood, so you can interchange them.
So there's a fisherman who is going to eat Pinocchio. That's not a healthy diet, mate.
Maybe needed a bit more fiber.
You know what's gonna be even more hilarious about this? Imagine if they say like he doesn't become a boy, he becomes something else in the end.
Firewood. Firewood for the barbecue.
Imagine the ending after Geppetto destroyed the whale. He used Pinocchio as firewood to cook the whale.
No, because he starts a fire to get the whale to cough him up. What do you think Pinocchio is? He's the firewood. When he gets out, he just carves another one. Carpet something, he can do it.
All this talk
Oh.
of fairies and stuff reminds me of when I went to see The Nutcracker with my girlfriend, and the whole time I was just thinking, what sort of drugs were they smoking? They must have had some serious parties back then.
Well, it was Mozart who wrote the Nutcracker Suite.
No, I thought that was Tchaikovsky. I can never say his name properly anymore because I always drive my girlfriend insane by calling him Chai Tikozy.
Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. The
Yeah.
Nutcracker.
You actually weren't too bad on the pronunciation there either, did you?
Oh, thank you. Oh man, imagine imagine like I said, I'm still hoping for a Forrest Gump Pinocchio crossover with this.
You've only known about it for 5 minutes. How can you be still hoping for it?
I'm just thinking about it in my head, but it's just funny.
He's got that glitch in the software where he gets fixated on one particular little thing and he stays there.
Yeah.
But could you imagine Del Toro in putting a bit of his magic into this movie?
Well, yeah, it's actually quite easy to imagine because he's doing it.
No, I meant
it.
No, I meant what type of strange thing is he gonna do though? Like
The Shape of Puppets. Called it now. You guys all owe me something. I haven't decided yet if it comes.
I'm not buying into that one because I've already said I wouldn't put it past him.
I could imagine.
Honestly, we're still waiting on you to pay up, DJ.
I'm thinking more of the Pacific Rim Pinocchio edition. Just see like a gigantic Pinocchio just battling the whale.
Is he still gonna have people like riding in his head?
Yeah, I think that's Japan. I think that's where Geppetto fits in. Oh.
What's Jiminy Cricket going to be? The other partner of the team?
No, Jiminy's going to be Idris Elba.
Oh man, it's like I can imagine Jiminy Cricket saying "restart the clock" every time Pinocchio defeats the whale.
But it's got to be Bubba though.
No, that's Forrest Gump.
Yeah, but you want a crossover, so we can have Bubba saying restart the clock.
So we're gonna have Pinocchio Forest Rim.
Oh,
just be careful how you say that. You don't want to mix those words up.
You mean Pacific
No.
Pacific Forest Pinocchio?
No.
Something currently.
Pacific Forest Rim. Mix up those three words. I've lost.
How long are we gonna give him to get the dirty joke you're making?
I'm out of that one. Pinocchio Rim Forest, which would go well with his growing nose every time he tells a lie.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be the other thing. Like, how are they gonna manage that? Like all these quirky things. Like, I promise to never tell a lie and
CGI.
Yeah, CGI.
Nah, never. They haven't done that in any movies before. But it's a stop motion animation.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not sure if it's going to be claymation or what, because he did the Corpse Bride and all that sort of stuff. So
you know, in Pacific Rim when they pull the sword out, in Forest Rim Pinocchio, God damn it, I did it.
Oh no, but you changed position.
In this horrible crossover monster of a movie, is Pinocchio's nose going to be the sword? Geppetto's going to be like, I've got a new weapon. And then Pinocchio's nose just goes.
Yeah, but I don't think
all you mean picking your nose.
Yeah. Could you? You know what's funny? Could you imagine that killing a whale?
Just impale the whale right through on the nose.
Well, that's just with all the dirty jokes, that's just gone bad. I think we need to step back.
Yeah. We're not second take. Shameless shout out to the other TNC podcasts for the night. Second Take, the podcast about movies. Yep. I haven't listened to them. Do you guys listen to them?
I listened to part of one of them, but I got called away to go.
Well, I assume they're good because everything TNC does is good.
Yeah.
Well, they do us as well. So are we going to? Yeah, let's claim we're good. We're good.
Anyway, our next topic for the night is that Steam is finally officially fully supporting Australian dollars.
Thank God.
Time.
Yep. And I've had according to the article, they've had it on the back end for years, but they're only just finally putting it through to the actual front end. So we'll see games in Aussie dollars instead of US dollars, even though they've had regional pricing and everything. It just doesn't make sense. But I'm not complaining because I'm very happy to be able to tell what I'm paying.
Bunch of buggers. Like, it's not as though all that difficult to have there. Like everyone else can do it. It's only a small amount of.
Yeah, they did it for New Zealand first. I mean, who even cares about New Zealand?
Well, Australia does because we have so many of them coming over here to live.
Yeah.
Shameless plug out there for our Kiwi listeners.
I'm just hoping they don't use it to make games more expensive with the usual cost of living and all that, even though the games cost more in Australia than they would adjusted for the Australian cost of living.
Well, what were the recommendations the last time when they said like how things were so expensive here, including tech stuff? Was buy off Amazon or
Yeah. Choice, I think it was.
yeah.
Put out a statement a few years back recommending that we all buy off Amazon and get it imported because it's cheaper than buying from Australian stores. Reminds me of a friend I had in Brazil who said that every few years their family would take a holiday to America and buy iPhones because it was cheaper to fly to America, buy iPhones, and fly home than to buy iPhones in Brazilian dollars, Brazilian reals.
Real, yeah, real. Wouldn't surprise me, but if you're going to buy it from, like, depending on what you're buying it from China is actually a worthwhile option because they've got products there that are just as good. Well, most of them are actually made in, so you can get stuff made in the same factory just with a different name on it.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it's exactly the same. They just came in after hours and ran a batch off.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just saying. It's made in the same factory. It's just got a different.
Yeah.
The DJ's vanished. Is he still around? Is he alive?
I'm still around.
I heard him make a weird noise.
I'm still around. I'm just wondering.
That's what happened. That's why he's gone quiet. He's thinking.
I'm wondering though. Will this be
Code red? He's thinking. Code red.
Sound the sirens.
I think we can.
He's thinking. Reset the clock.
I was just thinking, I'm just thinking about what Buck said with the whole. Is Steam just going to be rorting the system now with the Australian dollars in place?
Well, that was actually
the professor.
Who said that.
It's just taken that long to percolate through.
It wouldn't surprise me. They're an American company that are trying to rip everyone off. But it's the same as with Amazon when you buy books and so forth for the Kindle. You don't actually own it. You just buy the license to access that material.
And Valve's made a big deal in the past about how if they ever go under, they will unlock every game that you've bought so that you download it once and it's cracked, basically.
Yep.
But they obviously haven't had to test that yet.
I'm just glad they're finally actually going to be doing the transaction in Australian dollars. I just hope that they're not going to try and introduce all sorts of little underhanded and deceitful moves.
Oh man, microtransactions going to be interesting.
Well, ideally that will still be the same price. Though I suppose the microtransactions are actually a lot of games that charge $1 US and gets converted to $1.50 Australian or whatever. Might get a better deal because they'll only charge $1 Australian just to keep that nice 99 cents round up marketing going.
Although if it's an electronic transaction, it's still only 99 cents.
Yeah, but it's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
They get inside your head. They mind control you like the penguins.
That's where they learned it from.
Yes, it's more appealing to see something that is 99 cents instead of $1.
Yep.
Because humans are dumb.
It's even more appealing to see something for 97 cents.
Unless you're in America where everything is weird and they don't put tax on the product label. The number of times when I was living in America, I'd go to the game store and be like, great, a game for $10. And went to buy it and didn't have enough money because it's got an extra $1 tax.
Only an extra $1?
I think it was that for most of the games I bought.
Because I had a friend who was over there who had a massive dummy spit about the fact they went to the shop. They were over there for something to do with work and they were at some conferences and so forth. And they went to buy some mementos to bring home. And so they worked out, yep, I can buy all these things. I've got the money according to the price. And then they got up to the counter to pay for it. And then they're told, oh, yeah, it's that plus tax.
Yeah.
And the tax was just like ridiculous amounts of money. And they said, what's all this tax? And they said, well, you got the city tax, the regional tax, the state tax, the federal tax. My friend just turned around and goes, yeah, and you got an extra tax into yourselves as well. Tell you what, I'm going elsewhere. You guys can't put the prices up. You did a very typically Australian sort of response. You
I
can't
think
tell
it
me the price?
depends on the state as well. I was in
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma, the wind comes sweeping off the plains.
Great musical.
My
Which
entire
they
family
haven't
fell
actually
asleep watching
done.
it.
They haven't actually done that on Musical Stop Me Everything I Know. So
Oh, great. I'll have to see if I can get on as a guest and rant about how everyone fell asleep.
The other
well, you
thing,
could do that with Gone with the Wind. Well, that's not a musical.
fellas, the other thing I'm also wondering about with this whole Steam theme thing is the gift cards. Like the Steam gift cards. I wonder
Yeah.
how they get added into the mix.
Well, it used to be you'd go to EB Games and buy your $50 Steam gift card, and they charge you $60 or whatever. I remember, I think I paid $76 once when the Aussie dollar was really bad. But
It'll just be you buy a $50 gift card for $50.
yeah, and actually, the article I've linked in the show notes is from Kotaku. They have a new article in their feed at the top. What to expect after Steam supports the Aussie dollar, and just came out this morning as of recording. They say that generally games are the same in Aussie and US dollars. So they've included 2 Point Hospital as an example. It's $35 in both currencies.
So it's actually cheaper to buy it in Aussie dollars.
Yeah,
Okay, well that's all right then. But will they try to sneak it in through the back end? Kind of like
maybe.
Pinocchio
They
and
do
Forest.
call out Doom. Bethesda has been one of those companies that's always been bad about that. And Civilization Beyond Earth.
Okay, so we just have to make sure we watch out for Pinocchio and Forest.
We should tell the conspiracy theory guys. Just say like, oh, Pinocchio was in Forrest Gump the movie. Just gotta say carefully.
What?
You're mumbling, and I've never said this before, but you need to come closer to the mic.
Well,
It's
I'm
not
gonna
mumbling.
say,
I actually understood what he said, but it's actually up there as one of the craziest ideas.
That's something no one's ever said before. So what were you saying, DJ?
all I'm
No,
saying is,
no,
imagine.
no,
Nah,
don't
let's.
repeat it. It was bad. not
Okay,
the
we
first
don't want to
time.
know.
Nah,
We don't want to know. You don't want to repeat it, trust me.
Okay, Bucky, what's your story for the night?
What's my story for the night? My story for the night is... Oh, you mean the article that I was talking about? Okay.
No, I want you to read us a bedtime story.
Okay. Long time ago, in a land far, far away. No, my article for tonight is looking at NASA's next landing site for Mars. They still haven't confirmed which one it's going to be. They've actually been going through the process of having debates, as scientists want to do. We enjoy debating and arguing and fighting about little things. So after 3 days of intense debate, a non-binding vote by the scientists at Glendale has resulted in a tie between several candidate landing sites, apparently, according to the article. Although there's only 4, so I don't know how they get several. Some retard can't count, and he's running for a science.
Yeah, and it says lower down, there were 4 sites. 2 of them had a near tie. One of them was close behind.
Yes. There's actually a more in-depth article given you guys already. It actually goes into greater detail about it. There's 2 sites that are being considered as in a more favourable position. There's 2 of them that are close together. And in the more detailed article, if you scroll down through it, I'll just post it up there for you guys. They're only 25 kilometres apart. So after it does all the research in one location, the rover can drive across to the second site and continue doing research there. And they've actually just gotten hold of the chassis for the rover and are working at installing all the bits and pieces, so all the computer control equipment, the batteries, all that sort of stuff.
And it sounds like they're planning for sample return.
It is on the list of things they want to do because they're going to be drilling some core samples for a lot of bits and pieces for research, and they are adamant that they want to get those samples back to Earth to be able to physically analyze it here and do a lot of extra tests that they can't do with the rover.
And this is an exciting mission.
It is one of the sites that they're looking at. They're calling it the Delta. It's actually they're expecting that there's a lot of material there that could be showing evidence of microbiological material and microbial and entities and all that sort of so increased signs of life on Mars. Although what the Martians actually think of all of this sending remote control cars to their planet, I'm not too.
Well, they enjoy it because have you seen how long Spirit and Opportunity lasted? The only way that's possible is if the Martians were fixing them up behind our backs.
That was the one that went for 4 years?
Yeah, well, they had a 90-day mission and they're still going. One of
Yeah.
them is anyway.
I've
It
seen it
was
on.
just recently. Yeah, we spoke about it a while back. It went offline for a while, but I think it's come back online now.
Yeah. They've got one, the Opportunity Rover.
Is deceased.
Opportunity Rover
It's Curiosity as well.
has driven more than 37 kilometers and visited lots of extra terrain and operated longer than expected. So, from what I can understand, the Opportunity Rover is the bad boy on the block with the best spins record.
It is.
Although, which one was it that actually had to drive in reverse because it had a broken?
That's Curiosity.
That was Curiosity.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you got the second article that I just boosted up to you guys?
Yeah, I've skimmed through it.
Yeah, if you scroll down, I love the map where it actually shows the details and it shows where Curiosity and Spirit are both sitting. So Columbia Hills is where they've already been once before. They want to go back to, and they're struggling to get enough people supporting the idea of going there. And I think it's Northeast Sirius and Midway are the two that they're looking at. They're looking at landing at one or the other, or partway between and driving in, doing the business at both because they're so close together.
Yeah.
It's
I don't understand though. The article says a new landing site Midway might allow the rover to study rocks from both terrains. I don't understand why they wouldn't just drop it on one and then drive it to the other, instead of dropping it at Midway then going back and forth.
Well, Midway has similar terrain to, I think it's Jezero.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a replacement.
So the terrain is looking very similar. So they'll land there, get the samples there, and then drive to Northeast Sirius or whatever it is, Sirius, and get samples and all that there. But there's still lots of concern because it's only expected to have a 2-year mission. So yeah, there's lots of debate about is it going to spend 2 years at Midway and then try to go to the other, or vice versa, whatever it is.
Oh,
and it's got to drive
scrolling down
uphill.
in the article too. I said Curiosity was going backwards, which it is. Spirit was as well.
Okay.
And while it was going backwards, it scraped up opaline silica, which on Earth is a sign of life-supporting hot springs.
Yes. So the Martian silica deposits are stromatolite, and I've actually
Stromatolites are cool.
Yes.
There's on the north coast of Western Australia, there's a huge mud flat just completely covered in stromatolites.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically the bacteria that created oxygen.
Yes.
They made the atmosphere so oxygen rich that they themselves then died out or suffered greatly. Which is sort of funny that we're doing the same thing with carbon dioxide now.
Mm-hmm. And for those who really want to get their geek on tonight, stromatolites is from the Greek stroma, meaning layers or stratum, and lithos, meaning rock. So layered mound.
Because the stromatolites that I saw, actually they're in that Wikipedia article you just linked.
Yep.
Shark Bay and the Pilbara, they're round. And that's because the cyanobacteria that made them deposited layer after layer of rock.
Yeah. And that's a function that's actually produced by the bacteria involved, which is one of the main reasons why they want to go and look at this sort of stuff, because it actually helps to formulate evidence there is actually life on Mars. And they can
It's a
extricate
god awful small affair.
So yeah, there's just so much information that they can find from these things, and so exciting. I actually wish I could actually go with Rover, go to Mars.
Elon will take us soon enough. All hail the great Elon.
Oh yeah, and unless, well, depending on what the American government does, because they're trying to shut him down now.
Yeah. If NASA
you know
won't
what's-
give us a ride, it's going to have to be Elon.
You know what's interesting about this whole thing, though, is how the landing sites are all pre-named instead of going to the public and naming all the landing sites.
Yeah, well, that really worked out for naming the boat, didn't it?
Or was it boaty make boat face?
Well, this one, I was looking up an article about Opportunity, and I saw in it that the Opportunity and Spirit were named after a 9-year-old. So that one worked out. They weren't Rover McRoverface.
Yeah, well, they're named after. They're not named, but the other thing is, the landing sites are actually named by scientists. Like, there's a lot of the stuff that's there where they've already mapped out most of the surface of Mars. So a lot of the
You can look
areas,
at it in Google Earth.
so all those names such as Jezero and all that, that's actually it's been named ages ago. It's not the scientists that are involved in this mission. Although one thing I did find really interesting about this more in-depth article is they're talking about, they're looking at the planned routes that they're considering to go between the two locations, for the pathway between Jezero and Midway. It's Jezero and Midway, sorry, not Certus. Yeah, they've been poring over the possible routes for months, feverishly looking to make sure that there's no issues.
They said that the crater was named after one of the towns with this name in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In several Slavic languages, including Czech, Serbo-Croatian, and Slovene, the word Jezero means.
Yep.
I've also just found an article about Opportunity, which was covered by the Sandstorm recently, is unfortunately still silent.
Oh, when Matt Damon goes up there as part of the First Man mission, he needs to know where these guys are so that he can get access to the batteries and material to keep alive.
I love the scene in the book where he accidentally destroys the rover. He shorts it out because he converted his battery drip run off cables because that way he could work faster. And he accidentally shorted out the power supply and blew up the rover. So he lost communication with Earth. And that's why the I'm a space pirate scene didn't make any sense in the movie because he was still talking to NASA. But in the book, he wiped out his equipment. And it's just a great example of how shitty you feel when you screw up your soldering and destroy your hardware.
Oh, yeah.
But then guys, which movie was more scarier, like trapped in the space movies? What, this or Gravity?
I haven't seen Gravity.
Gravity wasn't really all that scary. Like,
I wouldn't say The Martian was scary either.
It was scarily bad acting.
Yeah, the whole point of The Martian was optimism as well, so they're not really horror movies of any sort.
Oh no, but what I'm trying to say is like the whole being trapped in space, like it could get scary though.
Well, neither of them they were trapped in space. One was on a planet and the other one was free falling to Earth. So they weren't really trapped in space.
Yeah, they both had a planet within relatively easy access.
Are you going to post a link for The Martian now as well?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna do that.
While
Hey
you're
DJ,
doing
try to
that,
keep up. The Martian, Gravity, Interstellar, Lost in Space, Forbidden Planet. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Star Trek 1, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4.
Star Trek 4.
Star Wars episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3.5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Rebels.
Clone Wars. Can you post them all?
Oh,
Yeah, actually, while I was reading that journal, I noticed another article. We were talking about the robots, like the autonomous robots flying, like the little drone things last week for mapping out some like the subterranean caves and all that. And I saw an article about force manipulation with micro air vehicles. So your little tiny robot bugs the size of the palm of your hand that are now able to lift up to 50 times their body weight. We'll have that in the show notes there. It's an interesting article to look at. especially when they start talking about the fact that about the idea of scaling up the lifting ability, because when you consider the fact that like 50 times its weight, if you bring up a robot that's flying that weighs 2 ton, carrying 50 times its body weight system, that is going to be an interesting operation.
Yeah, there's an image demonstrating it on the article
Mhm.
that you just linked. They hook onto the payload, let out some line, then anchor to the environment and tug it in with a winch.
Yes, and it's based on the behavior of the wasp. So it's actually, I apologize if the article is a bit too technical for some people, but yeah, it's actually really, really cool when you start considering all the possibilities of what this is doing. Sorry to
And
get sidetracked.
considering you tried to kill a gecko earlier with your spanner,
I didn't try to
it.
kill it, I just tried to chase it away.
All right, if you say so.
I like the geckos because they get rid of the bugs.
One of the designs of this flycrow tug uses a gecko adhesive pad inspired by the way gecko feet work.
Mm-hmm. Hey, as I said, it's not that I don't like them. It's just they hang around when we're doing the podcast, and make lots of noise.
They do.
But yeah, no, possibilities that this represents. I can actually see them using this sort of technology as part of the operational stuff when they actually start going to Mars.
Oh, that would be great if the rovers had a deployable tug that could pop off, grab onto a rock, and tow the rover out of the dust.
Well, that's what I was
if
thinking.
it gets bogged.
It's also, yeah, that's part of what I was thinking. Also, when they actually do manned missions to Mars, having a environmental control suit which has flight capabilities similar to the tugboat, and but with the drag, so able to maneuver materials around with this suit, similar, which is getting closer to the is it Gundam flight suits, where they got them from the mining robot stuff that they use. DJ, you there?
Yeah. I think
Well,
the Gundam fight suits were evolved from mining suits that they use to lift objects and mine.
You mean the Zaku's?
That's the name. I couldn't remember the name, but you know, yeah. So I can see this as being like something like this has been incorporated into an environmental suit for operational materials and so forth. And let's face it, the military is going to take over like that eventually, and we're going to have Gundam. Yeah.
Like he wants his power armor.
Which brings us back to All Hail Elon saying that it's time to start creating mechas, meaning the mecha suits, not the city in the Middle East.
Anyway, we're starting to run up on our time limit. So the games I've been playing this week. Bucky and I played Deceit. The DJ was late. The internet connection is shit.
Goddamn Australian.
Hey, we're using Australian internet and we had no problems. It's all you. It's the CIA following.
No, I don't know. It could be Pinocchio and his band of penguins.
The penguins have learned how to DDoS.
Actually, in further news, Bill Gates is actually a penguin.
No, you shouldn't have said that. Now they'll come after you.
For those who haven't actually had the fun of playing Deceit, it's actually based on the idea of the movie, the book, The Thing, and the board game. Which was what was the board game called we played?
Who Goes There?
Who Goes There? Except you got more map, and they got some really, really cool material.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter. 2 players are the Thing and have to drink blood to transform. The other players are trying to keep an eye on the blood bags to stop the monsters gaining power while completing challenges set by some mastermind scientist who to earn weapons to fight off the monsters when night falls. And then night falls and the monsters come and eat you, and it is unpleasant.
Not unless you're the monster.
Yes, being the monster is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That mechanic reminds me of Alien vs Predator in the game, where you can become the alien and you can hunt down other players.
It's that sort of asymmetrical gameplay.
Or was it Alien Isolation?
That wasn't multiplayer.
But definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a fun way of spending some time. And they've got servers that are all around the world, so you should be able to find something in a language other than English in your first language.
And you're not interested in playing with the 9-year-old Russians?
Oh, I had a 9-year-old Russian in there this afternoon. My goodness, I was so grateful that I was thing at that point. So he got killed very quick. But then
I highly recommend playing with voice chat on, because the screaming people do when they see you come out of the shadows is incredible.
Oh yeah. The 9-year-old screamed. He died. Someone revived him, and I got to kill him again. So there was a bonus in that, but he screamed even
scream
louder
twice?
the second time. Oh yeah.
And they've just released DLC today.
Yes. Actually, last night, new DLC. You can actually get the vampire.
I'm kind of disappointed it's not a I want to suck your blood kind of vampire, and more of a I am legend vampire.
Yeah, but they kind
into
of poke fun at what was that ridiculous movie series based on the books.
Is it Dusk Till Dawn?
No,
I think he's talking about Twilight.
Twilight. If it was Dusk Till Dawn, that'd be cool.
I haven't seen that one yet. I keep meaning to, but
you're not missing. They got sparkly vampires.
No, I mean Dusk Till Dawn.
Ah,
I just know that it's about vampires.
You haven't seen Dusk Till Dawn?
No, I haven't.
Tell you right now, Salma Hayek's dance in there, you will love it.
Okay.
Imagine the professor watching Twilight. Oh.
Not happening.
We can imagine you watching Twilight.
Nah, I will.
You own in a box set, don't you? You own the books and the DVD.
I bet he does.
With
I bet he owns multiple copies, so he can take one with him wherever he goes.
Do you have a big poster of Robert Pattinson up on your bedroom wall?
Nah, I think he's more of the Team Wolf.
He's gone.
I know there's a werewolf in that, and I know that I muted him for talking about Twilight and insinuating that I would watch the movie.
Okay.
But no, I think DJ's definitely more of a Team Werewolf kind of guy. I'm ashamed I even know enough about it to be able to make that distinction. I'm going to have to unmute him now so he can talk about his game. What did you play, DJ?
Oh, in preparation for the new Red Dead Redemption coming out tomorrow, I've been playing God of War game that came out earlier this year.
I fail to see how these are related.
They're both on PlayStation.
There's the PlayStation angle, and plus it's not really linear, not the linear storyline type of game with Red Dead and the new God of War. And plus, there's loads of side missions as well for both of those games.
You could have been playing Skyrim.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but Skyrim doesn't have horse scrotum.
Doesn't have what physics?
Horse scrotum. There's memes going around about the Red Dead game about how they've modeled the horse's scrotum and how it changes shapes depending on the temperature. Okay. I see I've shocked you into silence.
Yep.
I think I remember hearing something about it once before, but yeah, you seem to be. Maybe it's because you're a game
I saw a meme about it today. That was it was one of those.
Is that post?
No, yes meme, and it's like no, follow the plot line. Yes, ride straight into the mountains and watch your horse's balls shrink. I don't even know why that's a feature. Why is that a feature?
I think they're trying to make it as realistic as possible, with the next gen consoles kind of thing. Try and sell the next gen consoles.
At least it's better than when COD made a big deal about that fish AI.
I think it was just there was a gaming developer a little bit got just balls.
Oh, and the other feature with the horses, it will actually shit. It will actually shit while you're riding on the horse.
That's something I hope is slightly more realistic than the way you perform bowel movements in Ark.
Oh.
Does Scum do it too, where you're just walking along and the character's like, and then there's a pile of shit on the ground?
I don't know whether they do that, but they marinate. I've seen videos where they're marinating the animal, like the deer or whatever it is they catch, and they're cooking, or those zombies. One of the videos I watched, they actually there was a group of them where they teamed up in a party, and there was 4 of them, and they were cooking some meat, and they actually had a marinating poop party session.
So they cooked the meat in shit?
No, they cooked it on a fire, but they were pooping on it. Poop. And it actually brings some of the nutrients that you poop out back in. So, yeah, that was kind of just sad watching them pooping and teabagging, whatever it was that they were called.
Oh no.
So something to look forward to when you play Scum. You can actually eat your own poop. Not only can you be a zombie, you can eat poo.
I'm still gonna play Scum, but I'm gonna do everything I can to not be a coprophiliac because I have class.
So they keep saying after
Is that
before
class?
playing Scum.
Is that class or ass?
Class. No, I've been doing a lot of squats lately. Been working on my glutes.
Oh, there you go. It'll help you push them out there a bit harder.
Different muscles. Anyway, before we traumatize anyone else, let's get on to the birthdays. On the 22nd of October, it was the birthday of Ernest Julius Oppic from 1893. He was an Estonian astronomer and astrophysicist known for his studies of meteors and the structure and evolution of the cosmos. He was born in Kunda, Lääne-Viru, Estonia. And my pronunciation is awful, so any Estonians, all 5 of you maybe out there listening to this, please don't kill me. Closer to home, the 23rd of October 1813, Ludwig Leichhardt, the German explorer who explored northern and central Australia, was born in Sabrod. And on the same day in 1868, Frederick William Lanchester, the English polymath and engineer, inventor of the first British petrol automobile, under his company, the Lanchester Motor Company, was born in Lewisham, London. He's a really fascinating guy. Back then, I feel like you don't get people who are masters of so many disciplines anymore, but he had his fingers in cars, engineering, aerodynamics, and operations research.
Yeah.
Then on the 23rd of October 1908, Ilya Frank was the Soviet winner of, well, he is a Soviet winner of the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1958 with Pavel Alexeyevich Cherenkov and Igor Alexeyevich, thank you, and Igor Waitam.
Igor.
Yeah, it was what they got their prizes for explaining the phenomenon of Cherenkov radiation, which the character in Star Trek was named after. It's my favorite kind of radiation because it makes things all pretty and blue. It occurs when a particle travels in a medium faster than the speed of light in that medium. So you see it around nuclear reactors that are water cooled.
Which is the reason why they always have to put the glowing lights on in the movies.
Yes.
They put green lights in them, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Why do people think radiation is green?
Because...
I don't think I've ever seen an actual green radioactive thing.
That's just because back in the 50s, whatever, when they started doing colour, green showed up as a glowing light, the horror movie.
Fair enough. Same day, 1942, Michael Crichton's birthday, writer of such classic sci-fi, including Jurassic Park, The Andromeda Strain. Was Congo a sci-fi? I haven't read that one.
Congo?
Yeah.
It's not really sci-fi, but it's in some ways it is. It's also crossed with fantasy. You got apes and that are being specially bred and evolved into being highly intelligent and also extremely violent that are defending King Solomon's mine.
Okay, sort of
being
plot
protected
point in
by
next as well.
And the party's gone there to release a gorilla that has learnt sign language into the Congo region because that's where she was stolen when she was only a little baby. And so they're taking her back there, but there's some guys that are part of the party that are intending to sneak off and find King Solomon's mine and attract the wrath of the guerrilla defenders who are employed back by the penguins.
It reminds me of a book, I think it's called Hell Island, by who's that Aussie guy who wrote all the horror books years back?
Can you say that question again, Professor?
Who was the Aussie guy who wrote the horror books a few years back?
Oh,
one of them was called Scarecrow and the Army of Thieves.
Is it? I think I know who you're talking about. Is it Matt Riley?
Matthew Riley.
I think it is. Yeah.
That's not horror. That's action.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember him being called the Australian Stephen King. My uncle's actually met him.
It's just because of the quality of his writing. He's absolutely amazing. If you want a good
Fair
book to
enough.
read, he's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, the only one I've read was a bit of a novella. It's Hill Island, and it's about
Yes.
soldiers going to an island and fighting enhanced apes.
Yeah, it's
That
one
have
of the only
been-
ones of his that I haven't read.
It's a good one.
Little sidetrack note there. You know,
Yep.
he actually got rejected by all the different publishing houses, and so he actually went and published his own book and went and sold it to bookstores to get himself started.
Oh, cool.
And he actually went for a few reprints, and then that he got picked up, and that's when he did Ice Station 7, I think it is. Ice Station 7 or Ice Station.
Yeah, Ice Station.
And that was his first one that was published professionally by someone else, and then he went back because I think it was his first one was the competition, which was set in a library.
Yeah, contest. The first one was this contest.
There you go.
Okay. Next up, from the same day again, because everyone was born on that day, in 1954, Ang Lee, who directed, did he direct Brokeback Mountain? He, Taiwanese-born American filmmaker, Brokeback Mountain, Life of Pi, and that Hulk movie no one talks about.
But you're talking about it now. Oh,
You got me there.
He was also famous
And
for
move-
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as well.
Moving on to our events of interest. On the 16th of October 1950, on the 16th of October, it was the 68th anniversary of the release of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the first published Narnia story.
hmm
And
By
the
Silver
23rd of
Source.
October again, 1934, Jeanette Picard and her husband, John Picard, piloted a hot air balloon flight that reached 17.5 kilometers. Jeanette was the first woman to fly in the stratosphere.
And that's Jean Picard is where they got the name for Jean-Luc for Star Trek, by the way.
Yes.
Which I think in the story somewhere he's actually descended from Jean Picard.
Yeah, he is a French guy, isn't he? Like, that's his background,
Yeah, I think he
even
actually
though
is supposed
he's
to be
always
descended from him.
T.L. Grey hot.
Wow, you can't mess with a man,
No.
especially when he's also
Okay, so I've got the bio for Jean-Luc Picard. He was born to Maurice and Yvette Picard in France.
and family history. He has aristocratic history.
From what I've gathered, nothing on his history.
No,
They're saying that he and the rest of the family in the French have become obscure by the 24th century.
Yeah, I remember seeing somewhere in one of the episodes. There, let's move.
Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, we could all night.
The same day, 1941, Dumbo was released. The one about the elephant, not the one about the DJ.
Oh, speaking of Walt Disney movies, remember how last episode we were talking about about Aladdin and who's gonna about
Yeah.
the voice actors? You know who I would like to see? You know I would like to see in Aladdin? Gilbert Gottfried as the parrot again. I just want to see Gilbert Gottfried as the parrot in the new Aladdin movie.
We'll add that to the DJ's list of man crushes.
I'd rather see Jeremy Irons.
As the parrot? Ah, come on. Gilbert Gottfried was born for that role.
But he's more sly and that gravelly voice. Either that or Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry would do a good parrot.
Actually, no. Stephen Fry would be perfect as the Sultan. He would, or a genie.
The genie, yes, but not the. But we're getting sidetracked.
we-
Yeah,
ex-
sidetracked
yeah.
again. You keep
Yep.
ruining. You ruin everything, DJ. Anyway, same day, 1958, the Soviet novelist Boris Pasternak, who wrote Dr. Zhivago, published in 1957, won a Nobel Prize for Literature.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all of the special events and birthdays for this week. Check out our website, our Facebook page, leave us a comment, send us an email. What's our email address, DJ?
Nerds.amalgamated@gmail.com.
Send a tweet to our twit. What's our Twitter account?
At namalgamated.
Check out our merch and check out the other That's Not Canon people. So this is us signing off. I'll see you next week.
Uru.
See you guys.
Here we go.